How do we go about conceptualizing and actually creating a strategy? This process will vary from person to person, but we'll go through my approach, then you can work on forming your own method. Firstly, it's important to manage your expectations. No strategy wins 100% of the time. In fact, a lot of successful strategies win between 55 to 65% of the time. We'll spend time optimizing our strategies to ensure we get the absolute best out of them. Chart setup. To begin, I'm going to place my standard set of indicators, which will help me get my bearings and help me to understand what the market is doing. My preferred setup is to have a 20 EMA, a 50 EMA, an RSI, and an ATR. Let's add those now. On our blank chart, if we go up here to indicators, if you've saved them as a favorite, they will come up under favorites. Otherwise, we'll go to technicals, indicators, and find each of them here. When you're looking for the EMA, remember it's marked as moving average exponential, and you won't find it under E. So first thing, let's add our EMAs. I'm going to click on there. I'm going to click on there one more time. Now we have two, which are both defaulting at 9. I want to make these 20 and 50. So I'll click on the first one, or double click. I will go to inputs, and I'll change the length of 9 to be 20. Also, I like to have my first one orange and a little bit thicker. There we are, that looks good. The next one, I'll do the same thing, double click, change it to 50. And I like this one to be blue with a thicker line as well. That looks great. Next up will be the RSI. Back to indicators, RSI. You'll notice it actually says updated next to the RSI indicator. And what they've done is they've added the option to have a moving average attached to the RSI. This is something I was using in a few strategies previously, and I used to have to use a workaround to get it on there. Now it's built into the indicator itself. If you want to turn it off, we will go up here to RSI based MA and uncheck that. You may want to tweak a few of these settings. You can see the colors will vary from your default. That's because I've already set up my preferred colors and template for it. Next up, we're going to add our ATR. Now we can see this comes in at the bottom. I'm going to change this as well. I'm going to make this a bit thicker. Maybe I'll just make it orange as well. And what we get in the indicator, you can see this little arrow, same as on the RSI. There's a down arrow and an up arrow. We can move each of these panes around. So I like to have my RSI at the bottom and my ATR at the top. Now, if I grab this line here, we can resize it. It's not so important to see the overall graph, but to see the number up on the top left there as we scroll over our candles. Perfect. I might make the RSI a little smaller, and now we are set up good to go. I'd recommend sticking to some of the major market pairs when looking to create strategies. For example, in Forex, this might be the Euro US dollar, and in crypto, this might be the Bitcoin dollar or Ethereum dollar. The other option is to stick with a pair that you know very well. For example, majority of my strategies actually start on the New Zealand dollar US dollar, as it's a pair that I've watched since about 2003. While a strategy can work across multiple different timeframes, some strategies are more suited to certain timeframes than others. Something that works well on the 4-hour chart may not necessarily translate directly to the 5-minute chart. Also, the time frame you trade will be completely dependent upon your lifestyle, so ensure you're creating strategies you will actually be able to trade. For example, if you work full-time and you only have early mornings and evenings to trade, you may want to look at the 4-hour and daily chart as opposed to chasing the 5-minute and 15-minute charts all day long. In terms of trend, we have 3 categories of strategies we can create: a trend-based strategy, a counter-trend-based strategy, and a consolidation-based strategy. A market being in trend is when the market is moving in a specific direction. We note this by observing if the market is making higher highs and higher lows, or if the market is making lower highs and lower lows. It's easier to recognize if we draw this in. In a trend-based strategy, we enter trades following the direction of the trend, as we expect the trend of the market to continue. This can sometimes be referred to as a continuation strategy. In a counter-trend based strategy, we enter trades opposing the current trend of the market. This is suitable for trading on retracements in the trend, or for when you've identified areas where you expect the trend to reverse, which is known as a reversal strategy. Consolidation is when the market takes a break from the trend and begins to move horizontally. This means that it has stopped making new highs and lows and instead appears to stay relatively dormant or bounces between two areas. This can sometimes be referred to as a range-bound market. It is important to observe and understand what the market is doing and to be cautious of using the wrong type of strategy in the wrong type of market conditions. With the right rules in place, we may be able to mitigate this issue, so our strategy rules are not met until the market shows the trend it is designed for. Now that I have my chart indicators set up, I can begin to observe the market and look for any notable patterns. Often, I will already have some idea of what I'm looking for, as I may stumble across an idea while trading or while backtesting an entirely different strategy. Once I observe some kind of repeating pattern, I immediately make notes about the observation, I mark the occurrences on the chart, and save it as a screenshot. In order for a strategy to be formed, tested, analyzed, optimized, and eventually traded, we must set it within the bounds of several rules. These are the rules that will begin to form our checklist for the strategy, covering the setup, the conditions, the execution, and the entry. Let's begin looking for potential strategies so you can see how this all fits together.